Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets. I'm your host, DJ Mitchell, here to, celebrate, first off, the USA covering the 6.5 spread. The overs, every one of them hit but one. Russia was the one bet that didn't work. I'm going to be taking the over in the Canada-USA game for sure. And I think I might consider going back to Russia, but I'm not sure yet. I do want to kind of look into that game. I didn't watch it because it was at 3 a.m. Eastern time, but I am going to take the over in the Canada-USA game, 5.5. A lot of college players, should be fun. Other than that, we'll get right into it with the main slate, the NHL slate of action. We have 4 games, and I think actually, I was pessimistic about this going into it, that this would be a really garbage slate of action, but I think there's a little bit more meat in the bone than I originally anticipated. So we have 4 games, and we're going to start with Winnipeg at Dallas. Winnipeg is banged up. I didn't bet for or against them last time out because they're missing a bunch of guys. They're missing Dubois, they're missing Ehlers, which is stuff we knew. But they played really well against Minnesota. They won 2-0. They really limited Minnesota's offense, and the Connor line was awesome. So I do think that there's some relevance to them on this slate, being as Scheifele, Wheeler, Connor, and Stastny all saw over 22 minutes of ice time. Kopp 19 in his own right. The first power play I basically just listed, except Stastny was not on it. Morrissey was actually the defenseman that fit in. With Pionk out. Well, Pionk was at practice. I guess Pionk could be in. We're going to have to keep an eye on that going forward. We don't know yet. But with all that being said, if you're playing Winnipeg, it's solely because of the high correlation, high amount of minutes, but it's against a really, really good team in Dallas. I'm a little bit more on the side of taking Dallas here, but I don't think I'm going to bet it at all. I just think that if Hellebuck's in, and we don't know right now, it's really hard to bet against him after that last game. I think he's a great goalie, and these teams should be playing their top lines quite a bit. So it's kind of fire versus fire. Dallas looked really good last time out. They won 4-3 against Nashville. The power play was where they got a lot of their offense from. The Pavelski, Hintz, Robertson line all had 21, 22, and 23 minutes respectively. Robertson had 2 power play goals, and Hintz had the other. So that stack crushed. Of course, they always seem to do that. They were expected 4 goals, and that top line was a lot of it. Robertson, weirdly enough, had 6 shots on the power play, and they had a lot of power play time. So 6 shots on goal on the power play, which is just really, really cool to see. 2 of them in the back of the net. So it does seem like that's the guy they want to get the puck to on the power play. So I do like his shot props tonight. I think they're going to go back to it because it worked. I mean, why would you not go back to him shooting again when he just scored 2 on the power play? So that is something I'm very interested in here, but I'm not betting either line. The 5.5, it seems like something I'm just, again, not going to take. Winnipeg was really good defensively last time out, kind of surprisingly, I guess. I thought they'd be a little bit worse without Pionk, but they got DeBello back, and I guess that added to their defensive prowess a little bit more. And then on the other side, Dallas is just awesome defensively too. So if anything, the under 5.5, but I don't think I'll bet it. Just probably props here is all I'm going to take. Moving forward to the Islanders at Edmonton. Edmonton just fired their coach, David Tippett. Seemed like it was about time. They lost 4-1, but honestly, they played really well. They're expected 4.3. Fleury had 37, 38 saves, I believe was the final tally. And they, that'll beat you night in and night out. So they ran McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, and all of those guys, every single one of that top 6 saw over 20 minutes of ice time. The first power play, they did go back to Evan Bouchard, who I played on DraftKings, hoping they'd go back to him, and it didn't matter because they couldn't freaking score. They did get a power play goal, but not enough for me to actually make some money. They're going to be without Duncan Keith going forward. He was injured. He's gone IR now. They call up Bromberg. So I think that Nurse Bouchard pairing is going to see a ton of run. Bouchard probably going to keep his first power play. So I love him on this slate. I always love him. He's a huge shot taker, and he has a cannon of a shot from the point. So I think that if I'm going to be stacking through Edmonton, he's going to fit into my player pool in some capacity on DraftKings. But overall in this game, I do like the Oilers. Minus 145 seems a little bit too low. I bet it right now because I do think it could move in the direction of, them getting a bigger, maybe lean. The Islanders have not been very good. They did, I believe that, they won 6-3 last time out, but that was in large part due to Halak being garbage. They were only expected 2.3 goals and they scored 6. So not great. I don't think they have a lot of offensive upside, and I think Edmonton should be the much better team here. I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to go with what the numbers are telling me, and I'm going to play that there. I think that Edmonton is going to be something that I'm going to factor in DFS a lot, because after disappointing, that's a good time to get back on them. I think ownership could still be a little bit of a concern, but I don't think it'll be as bad because people don't like to play against the Islanders. A lot of optimizers might not jam it in, and you get unique correlations. As I already mentioned, they really jumbled up the lines. They could do it again because they lost, but if not, I mean, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, that's a fun little time. I mean, Hyman wasn't on the first power play, but McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Bouchard might not be the highest owned correlating unit at all. And I took Nugent Hopkins goal prop, and I might do it again if he's still with McDavid. Not a lot on the Islander side. They moved Buttercup up to the top line with Barzal and Lee. I guess because you don't like scoring goals. I played the Wallstrom shot prop. He only had 2 because he just can't do it for me. When I play him, he doesn't do it. When I don't play him, he has 8. And it's just, that's the way it goes with him. They spread out the minutes very evenly through the 5-on-5. So you really got to go through the power play. They returned. No, they didn't. No, they did. They returned Ryan Pulock, who was awesome. He was on the point for 1 unit, and obviously Dobson was on for the other. So you're probably going to, you could consider using one of them. Pulock is a rates monster, but I don't think I'm going to have a lot of Islanders in my lineups, and I don't think I'm going to really trust any of their props. So the next game is Tampa at the Arizona Coyotes. I did bet Tampa now at -310. It's a little like round robin. I don't love it. I don't think I'm going to actually put anything on it other than in a round robin. Like, they should win this game. They get Kucherov back on Wednesday, but it is a back-to-back. We're not expecting Vasilevsky, and that always makes me nervous. Arizona's played a lot better. But with all that being said, this is Tampa Bay, and they do run the best team in the NHL, maybe barring the team they're playing on Thursday. But I still like them a lot. So I'm going to have them here just to put it in a round robin, but I wouldn't take it straight. I mean, you have to put so much money on a -310 to make that worthwhile. The puck line, it feels real thin to me. Like back-to-back Tampa, backup goalie and net. I don't even know if it's going to be Elliott. You'd assume he's bad. So I just don't want to do it. Why can't Tampa have a good backup goalie? Like, is it impossible for them? Like, I do not understand, but should be Elliott in net. And let me just pull him up. He has a .907 save percentage. So if he's a little bit better than the mean, and they limit shots like they have in the past, I just don't think Arizona is going to have the chances. I think the under is better than anything else here at -6, or under 6 at -105. That's probably the only thing of real maybe edge, but I don't even think it's that great of an edge because Elliott's going to be a net. So not betting any of that. Not really looking at any shot props, but I do think Kucherov on DraftKings in general and to score could be interesting. We don't have a line for it right now, but if it's any plus money, I think it's totally justifiable to put into a mix or just take it straight. The last game of the night, the one that's probably my favorite, Anaheim -150. I don't understand. Like, Seattle just got throttled by Arizona, and like they didn't look good. They're just not a great team. Anaheim hasn't played since the All-Star break. Their last game was actually not even in February. I guess that might be something, but it's not much. The top power play for Seattle was Everly, Giordano, Yonkrock, Johansson, and McCann. This is not going to get it done. They don't have a lot of scoring. They don't want to use Donato on the top power play. I don't know why, because he's like their best shot on the team, and they just don't want to use him. The team's bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I'm not, Grubauer was in that last game, so they're probably going to Drieger, or is Drieger out still? I mean, it doesn't really even matter to me. Like, it's not going to be anyone very good. So yeah, no, Anaheim is a much better team. They should have Gibson in net. I don't understand this line. Milano should be back as well. I'm almost positive. So they should be back to pretty much full health in Anaheim, which we haven't seen since they were pretty freaking good. So we're talking Trevor Zegras at 6K. Not the best race shooter maybe in the history of the NHL. He might not go down as, but whoever he's around, and I'm kind of hoping we get back to Zegras, Milano, and Raquel. I mean, that stack could fit in with some Edmonton. You might have to find another value piece, but I think it exists on this slate. And you're feeling real good. I mean, if you want me to give you a couple value pieces, because I do a show for it, Cole Perfetti at 3K might be a guy to fit in from Winnipeg. that might be the easiest little piece there. And then, I mean, Nugent Hopkins, like I already mentioned, 4,700. That is just screaming value. He had 9 shots on goal. I don't think I fully clarified how good of a play he was, and he didn't score for me. 9 shots on goal with McDavid, so I'm going to be jamming his goal prop again if he's with McDavid. So again, there's enough value here that I think you could get it done. And those are my 2 top stacks of the night. Would be, barring a change, but McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard. I'm actually going to put it in the DraftKings while I'm doing this just to see if it fits with. And we don't have lines in Anaheim. I'm just going to point that out again. The last time they skated, they didn't have Milano. So yeah, they had, Comtois with Getzlaf and Terry, which I kind of expect, and then Zegras for Cal Henrique. But if we get Milano back, let's just say we do because he should play. Then that 2, and it's a 4-game slate, so I'm probably going to have at least, a 4-man or a 4 and a 3 sounds best. This definitely seems to work. Let me just put McDavid back in there. McDavid, and it's gonna be tight, but it definitely looks doable. Goaltender, we'll put in Gibson, and you have 36.5 or 3.65 remaining for defenseman and utility. So yeah, it's very doable here to play Anaheim and Edmonton. Those are my top 2 stacks. Like I mentioned, fading Tampa kind of sucks, and I do want Kucherov at 8,300 in my mix if I'm making multiple lineups, but it doesn't seem completely necessary. I think if you're looking for a very good value defenseman from Tampa, if you just want to get some action on it, McDonough is going to see a ton of run with them for 3,300. Sergachev priced up a bit, so it'll be tough to play, but you put in McDonough there and you have 4K for utility. I don't know, put Sorel in. Why not? That's a great lineup. I think it's a really, really good start. Getting the 3 favorites I like. Those are my 3 favorite bets of the night would be, let's go all the way back. We'll do 2. So we'll do money line for Edmonton, money line for Anaheim. So Edmonton -145, Anaheim -150. And then Nugent Hopkins, as long as it's McDavid to score. And then Kucherov to score. Those are probably the best. And then shots for Kopp, shots for Nugent Hopkins, probably if we can find it. I mentioned one more and I'm totally blanking now, but Robertson. Those probably the best ones. So I think that's enough for this 4-game slate. If you want more Olympic stuff, if you want more bets in general, I'm always posting them on Twitter. DM me, whatever I'll be posting. I'm going to be betting USA against Canada because I hate myself, but you got to do it. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can say other than I put 25 on it, but the over is my favorite there for that game. And other than that, I mean, let's just have fun, keep winning money. I hope you did get some action on that USA China game because I had it at 6.5, and what a sweat, early morning sweat. It's so rare, but it was a lot of fun. So take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're a drinker, have a nice cold beer and go USA.